Alrighty. We're live. Got my diffuser set up. You can see them. What are they? I'll tell you in a minute. All right, let's talk YouTube. Roll 1, C1. Scene 1. Casey Dufo. September 27th, 2020. Welcome to the show. All right. Don't know how prepared I am for this. Didn't write any notes. Good. How come nothing's lined up? I had this all lined up, but not with the YouTube camera, obviously. I was using my camera. Made this little diffuser so the light wouldn't reflect in it. Don't need it anymore. Not sure quite how the sound is, but I'm using egg cartons as my diffuser so that you don't get all the echoing. Hopefully it's helping with the sound and you're not getting too much reverb off of the walls. And the lighting seems to be okay, just my background isn't quite exactly how I wanted it to look. So, anyways, that's fine. Working on building a studio right now, but the attempt of that is a little extensive, more or less expensive. Not really something that I was expecting to get into. So, I don't know how long this stream is going to last or how long I'll carry on here. Hope you guys are ready. Got myself a tea once again. Sorry if it seems a little bit unprofessional, but you know, we do need to hydrate and make sure that we're able to speak fluently without drying up. So, what's been going on? I guess it's been just over a year since I've been on YouTube now, and I have definitely learned a lot, and I'm continuing to learn a lot. One of the biggest things I wanted to speak about was, I guess you could say, the pressure that so many of these big YouTubers tend to put onto the smaller YouTubers, stating well, let's see here, starting to stumble on, stating things such as posting a video once a week, you know, or doing the 365. I guess they got some kind of funny name for it. I don't know. I can't remember it right now. But anyways, I've attempted it twice. Some of you have noticed if you've been following me from the start. The first attempt, I actually deleted a lot of those videos. And for those of you watching right now, if you do attempt to do the YouTube, I would suggest to not delete the videos and just mark them or post them as private. At least then, potentially or hopefully, I'm not quite 100% sure on this, but you would still have your view count, and obviously have those videos up on your platform still for the process to try and monetize yourself within your channel if that's what you're attempting to go about doing. But what I'm trying to get at is don't get wrapped up in this. I have been a prodigy or part of that myself, and it can get very overwhelming very quickly. Now, I have changed my career within the attempt of doing this YouTube and whatnot, so I do have a little bit more time. But that being said, trying to work an 8-hour day and come home, shoot videos throughout the day and continue to edit them during the evening and post a video every day is overwhelming, and it will burn you out very, very quickly because you're more or less putting in 12 to 16-hour days, if not more. And then you're constantly thinking and trying to come up with ideas and bring value to the platform and to your audience, which isn't always easy on a 365-day schedule, day to day, in and out. A lot of the big YouTubers that I see that have made it to where they are now, some of the guys that I really do appreciate watching their content or their productions, they don't follow into these guidelines. Some of the guys that I've noticed, they take their time, and it shows. A lot of them will only post a video once a month. They may not have as big of a following as some of the others, but they're getting a lot better brand deals and sponsors if that's what you're shooting for. And typically, if you're on YouTube, you should be looking towards such an event and trying to monetize yourself and turn this into a business, because that's potentially what it is. Now, when I first started YouTube, a little bug was put into my ear by my mother. Thank you, Mom. Thank you for putting this bug into my ear. I knew about YouTube before and wasn't quite aware of the whole benefit behind it and trying to create a business around it. So I was one of those people that it took a while. I spoke about it. I thought about it. I attempted to make videos shooting with my camera, and it felt very awkward at first speaking to a camera. No one else around except for yourself. You don't seem to act like yourself for sure when you're on camera. You definitely have this different kind of personality at first. And maybe for some they don't, and others they do. I know myself, I did. So it takes a while to actually get out of your head and get into actually making videos, unless you've been playing with cameras for quite a while within your life beforehand. And unfortunately, I wasn't one of those people. I had cameras with the job that I was on, but I was just taking still shots and never really got into the video making. YouTube is a very, very big process, more than most people understand, because you are simply playing all of the roles. You are the actor, you're the director, you're the filmer, you're the editor, you're the producer, like you name it. You are the one that funds everything that your channel provides, or you provide to your channel. So I don't like how a lot of people say YouTube is the cheapest and easiest business to get into. Because in my mind, I've been in business, I've had businesses, and this is not the cheapest business to get into. Yeah, if you're doing everything off of your cell phone, recording and editing and uploading all through your cell phone, yeah, it can be the cheapest. I won't deny that. But your content is going to be very limited as well. Your editing is going to be limited, and so on and so forth. And eventually, you're going to want to move up and graduate from that cell phone. It's just kind of that natural manner that we all go through. Sooner or later, you're going to want to get a camera in your hands and practice some new techniques and get some different lenses and try and get some different feels and different shots and whatnot. And as you get into this, it gets fairly extensive, as I have now recently found. For my first year, I used some simple items, just the cell phone. I had a couple old phones, so I had an old i5, bought myself a cheap little kind of selfie stick. It doesn't take selfie pictures, but I was able to use it as a tripod and an extension pole to be able to walk around and record myself. And further on from that, I moved on to getting myself some handheld gimbals. Now, those kind of got frustrating in their own way as well, because they were only 2-axis gimbals, and now you have the 3-axis gimbals. And they are quite a bit different and a lot better, easier to use and whatnot. So I'll be looking forward to getting one of those for my cell phone, because quite frankly, this device is the easiest to use when it comes to recording, because it's always on hand. It's in your back pocket or wherever you store it on your person, but it's always right there. To carry a camera around everywhere you go, this is big and bulky and kind of obnoxious. You want to bring this out into a store or out into public and start recording yourself, you kind of look silly, and people look at you. And a lot of people don't really like seeing that camera. They get intimidated by it. But when you bring a cell phone in, people don't seem to be bothered by it. It's quite amusing. So you can be producing the same content, but people are a lot more relaxed when this is around rather than when this is around. So if you're going to start YouTube, get a good phone and play with that. Practice with it. Now, there's many different softwares that are out there, and that's a whole nother ball game on its own, let alone recording yourself. Getting into the editing process and learning how that flow goes is a whole nother beast on its own, more or less. And like I said, the learning curves are huge because you're learning to try and speak properly, look decent, feel good and comfortable behind the camera, and now you're getting into the editing room and you're starting to listen to your own voice, see how you act and move, and yeah, it can be very discouraging very quickly. But that being said, if you want to push forward, you must persevere and continue on. When I first started, so starting to go into some of the gear here because I didn't write down notes, so I don't really have a game plan for today's stream, but thanks for joining in. I got a box of goodies here, all my little odds and ends that I started with. So I started with cameras like these, and great little cameras, but the battery life is only good for so long. And I did like them because they came with the waterproof cases and all different kind of mounting accessories, so they were kind of similar as the GoPro. The thing is when I started recording, I wasn't quite thinking, and due to this being in a waterproof case and some of my first recordings being on the boat, I kept them in these cases. And so I'd start filming and recording and talking to the camera, and then going into the editing process, found that, oh, the case hides the sound because the mic is inside. So then I'd spent many, many hours filming myself without being able to use the footage. Or I was still able to use the footage, but I had to do voiceovers in order to get the sound out of it. That being said, it wasn't always easy because once you start doing the voiceovers, it's never the same as speaking to the camera initially or the first time, right? So these were $50 little cameras. I shied away from the GoPros and whatnot at that time because they were $500 cameras. They're still fairly pricey for the better cams, but if you're just testing the grounds with YouTube, I guess this would be the way to go because you're not heavily invested. And there's many other things that you get into. So many people on YouTube start talking about gear, and a lot of these big YouTubers start talking about all the big fancy stuff, obviously, like $3,000 cameras and $500 or $1,000 mics and whatnot. And it gets very silly very quickly. And if you're not realizing, these guys are talking about this stuff because they're looking for that commission. They're putting the links down below because they're their affiliate links that are connected to them personally. This was something that I had also learned within the YouTube thing. All you need is a cheap little mic. I bought these little Andurs off of AliExpress or Alibaba or something like that, and they seem to do a very good job. They came with a little sock, the wind sock, so you get that, you know, that clarity of sound without getting the wind in there and whatnot, and it plugs in directly to your camera. You get the wiring and whatnot with them. So I picked up 2 of these, came in a nice little case, and they do very good. They do very well for me. At first, I wasn't sure about them because I was using the phones, but obviously it was my phones that were the issue, and they weren't obviously picking up the sound quality properly. Obviously, this happens if your phones get abused a little bit, get dropped, tossed around, dirt's in them, whatever. You know, there's many variables that can happen and go on there. So don't get overwhelmed with all this crazy expensive equipment. I kind of am at the moment, but I kind of have a game plan with my next series that I'm looking to move on forward with. I believe that this next series that I am looking to develop is what's going to bring my channel into more popularity and hopefully and potentially bring me to the point where I can start building revenue out of this and making a true business out of YouTube. That being said, I will be setting up my business right away so that I can write off all of this equipment and the equipment that I continue to purchase further on. And that being said, you can get into all the write-offs of, your rent, utilities, equipment purchases, fuel, maintenance on your vehicle, stuff like that. You're going to need to travel to be able to record different areas. So even planes, hotels, restaurants, all these kinds of things, clothing, computers are 100% write-off. There's so many different things that can carry on with the accounting end of business. And that's a whole nother aspect on its own. Some of you might be into that, others may not. So you might be better off to just get a bookkeeper and an accountant and carry on that way. But be careful, not all accountants will write off everything in a way that they can, because they're trying to be careful, even though they're still signing off and making you sign onto the liability end of the whole accounting thing. So I haven't always been impressed with my accountant in the past. I no longer have them because I shut down my last business. And as I continue forward, I'll probably continue doing the accounting myself up until I find somebody that I am comfortable with. So I have moved on from the phone and purchased myself a Canon 60D. For those of you that are looking at purchasing a camera, be mindful. Okay, so I purchased a Canon EOS 60D used, thinking that I was simply going to save myself some money. Funny. That was simply not the case. So I paid for this camera at $275 used. I got 3 batteries and and I ended up getting a free tripod out of the deal. I could have even got a memory card for free because the guy left the memory card in here when he was trying to show me how it worked and whatnot. But being an honest person, I brought it back, even though it cost me more money in fuel. So whatever, it is what it is. I feel better as a person that I returned to him his property. What I'm trying to get at, though, is after I purchased this at $275, I purchased the lens. Now, this is a beautiful little lens. I'm not disappointed in it. It's an EFS 24mm f 2.8 STM. Beautiful lens. Your subject is in focus when you're at the right focal point, and everything in the background has that shallow depth of field. So you get that blurred background, which is kind of nice in some situations. Some people like to see everything around in focus, but some like to just have that subject in focus rather than everything else, so that there's less distractions, I guess you can say, more or less. But that being said, this little lens was $225 plus GST and provincial sales tax. And then I ended up purchasing a 55 to 250 mil lens. And that was pretty much an equivalent price, probably around the $250 range. Before I purchased these lenses, it was about a day after I purchased my camera, I went online and tried to cheap out and just found myself an old lens. This is a 35 to 80 mil Canon zoom lens. And I was impressed with it at first. The funny thing was, when I purchased it, I didn't have the memory card in the camera, so I wasn't able to fully capture what the lens can capture. So can't really see it there because I've got the diffuser. Okay, there you go. So the Canon zoom lens, EF 35 to 80 mil, 1 to 4, 5.6. I don't know all those numbers. I'm still learning all this stuff. Anyways, and I bought this little filter that came with it for another $10 from the gentleman. But soon found that this seems like an antique lens. It's like, it feels like you're shooting in the 90s or something. Like there's just a lot of busyness going on within the lens. So I really don't use it. I just kind of put it on display now or let it hang around. So that being said, I've pretty much kind of spent close to an $800 value for this camera and 3 lenses. And if I would have just listened to some other YouTubers, but I didn't, I could have had myself the Canon M50, which is a mirrorless camera, and it's probably about half the weight of this, and the technology is quite a bit more advanced. It is, this is like an 8 or 9-year-old camera, still performs very well, gives you 1080p and whatnot, but yeah, trying to save myself a buck by getting an older camera, I could have the camera in this hand that I need for the production value that I am looking for. So sometimes I think I do a lot of research and then I find out that I didn't do enough. The funny thing is on my birthday, I posted on Facebook that I'm getting myself a one wheel, and this is going to be part of my next venture. How I use it is entirely up to me. It might just be another tool, but I think I'm going to make something out of it. So I actually purchased the Dji Ronin SC 3-axis gimbal for my birthday. And I had always wanted one of these gimbals because obviously I had the gimbals for the phone, and I found that they did a very good job at stabilizing while you're walking, or give you some pretty cool motion, cinematic motion, I guess you can say, and kind of added to my content and made it feel kind of cool. But then again, you purchase these gimbals and they're specific to certain cameras. So yes, I can place this Canon 60D on here. I can balance it and whatnot. The motors kind of work a little bit hard because the camera is heavy. But once again, I didn't do my research, and I wish I did, because I knew I wanted to get a gimbal, so I should have looked at the gimbal first to see what camera would match up to it so that I was purchasing the proper combination rather than buying an old used camera that's not available to be used on this gimbal, nor is it able to be used on the Ronin S gimbal either. So that's fine, because I still have an area where I can use this, because I did purchase myself a Smarta electronic mini slider. I like it because I can put it in my bag and pretty much take the slider anywhere I go. It's motorized, so I still get that motion and can film myself while I'm doing any sort of activity, hiking, walking, or whatever it may be, sitting in the studio. And I can place my Canon 60D on this and use these two as a combination, and then when I get a Canon M50, use it on the Ronin. So I do kind of have a little game plan of how I can use all of these items together, but that was kind of just being that little bit creative and not wanting to sell this camera, because I see the troubles that people are having right now on the internet trying to sell these things because of the mirrorless movement. Everybody's going towards the mirrorless cameras and getting away from the DSLRs. So all in all, it's good, making progress. And as you can see, I've got myself a little background now. You might think I'm in a studio, but I'm actually still in my bedroom. I added a few little curtains to give it a little something something. They're kind of bugging me right now because it's not really looking the way I want it to look. Fix it up. There you go. And then this light's in the way, looking the way I want it to look. Fix it up. There you go. And then this light's in the way. I don't have a whole lot of room. But that was another thing I wanted to speak about today. So I got myself a few different screens so that I can record myself with some different backgrounds. The green screen was something that I really wanted to have because you can do some cool special effects with that. So that's something that I really have to learn to use. I also purchased myself some suits so that I've got some green suits and I can try out some cool techniques with that as well. And move on. So this being said, I'll show you here. So I bought myself a few different colors, right? Blue, green, black, and white. And red. You can't really see it too badly right now. It actually doesn't look that bad at all. Just depends on how the light is shining on them. But being fabric and being sent in from China, these things are folded in little tiny squares, and obviously when you receive them, all those fold marks stay within the cloth or the fabric, and that's quite annoying. I tried ironing them. I tried spraying them with water, misting them, and then throwing them in the dryer, and all it did was make it worse. So if you're looking at getting yourself some backdrops, I would highly suggest to get yourself a frame and get something of decent quality, because these are fairly cheap quality. They still work, don't get me wrong, but they're quite fragile compared to some of the other frames on the market. But they do the job. And instead of getting these cloth backdrops, go to a photo shop or go online and get yourself paper rolls. You're going to appreciate the quality that much more. And I don't think the price is that much different. Besides, with the paper, you can roll it down. If it gets crinkled on you, you rip it up and get rid of it. Or you can do silly things like the potato jet and come smashing through your backgrounds and make it kind of interesting on how you arrive in your scene or your videos. Yeah, so kind of jumping all around here. It's kind of funny. With my kit, I received a 5-in-1. It's kind of cool. I received a couple umbrellas. I showed videos of this, but obviously my product reviews are kind of lame and low. I don't put enough time and attention into this. So going back into that one video a week or one video a day, just slow down, take your time. It's better to just take your time and put out good quality content that's clear and direct and shows people what you actually have, so that you're giving them good information instead of just a poor quality video. I know some of my videos have been good, some of them have been really bad, and some of them have been kind of average. So I got 2 white umbrellas, which are nice. They diffuse, or they kind of give you that soft light. And then I've got 2 of the black umbrellas, one with the silver lining inside like you see here, and I have the other one with the gold. So you can kind of see how I'm getting that nice color on me right now, giving me a little yellowish tone. And I'm kind of liking it. And then I've got these other 2 boxes. They're soft boxes with the lights in them. So that being said, I want to show you one thing. I got to disappear for a second to show you. So this little kit comes with some funny lights. Now these LED lights I've never really seen before. There it goes, to show you it that way. Now each one is a little LED light, With these lights, though, what I found quite amusing when I was taking photos with them is they really give a purple color to anything that's kind of white, and you can literally see every little dot if there's anything reflecting back, like a reflective shield or whatnot. So for LED lights, they are nice and bright, but for certain reflections, they're not really that great at all. So you really have to play with how you set them up and move them around to get that right feel out of them and quality out of them. Try and hide some of the colors and whatnot. So that being said, I ended up getting myself something else because I had the bright idea of building a studio. But with my intentions, not only do I want to build a studio to have a nice place to record and give proper sound and whatnot, I also want to be portable. I want to be mobile. I don't want to be stuck to one room or one scene, because I feel you need to change it up. You've got to give some different content or some different quality every now and then. So I ended up going out and getting myself a nanolite. I wasn't quite expecting to purchase this item at the time, but I did, and I'm kind of liking it. It's a nanolite Forza 60. It comes with this little dish, and it has the mount, but it doesn't have the pole extension or the tripod that it goes onto. So I was able to use the light stands that I had purchased from China, my cheap lighting kit, and put it on there. That being said, they're not very stable, so be careful, because I already wrecked my light. Didn't wreck it to the point that it doesn't work, because obviously you're seeing the light shining on me, but I put a dent in it, and they're not cheap or easy to replace. And I like my stuff to look good. I don't like it looking beat up. But when I was filming outside, trying to film some of my studio build, it ended up falling on the ground twice, and the second time dented it. So kind of unfortunate. Ow, it's bright. It still works, but yeah, it's damaged. The thing I like about this Forza is that it's versatile. So you can get different pieces for it. Now, there's other guys out there that have done some very good quality videos, especially right from Nanlite, and they show you all the different accessories that can go onto this. So you can get a few different pieces for this, right? You can get the soft box, the round one. You can get the piece where I don't know all the names or the terminology. You can get a spotlight for it, and then there's that shield piece, the black shield. You guys probably seen something like that before. And what else can you get for it? Oh, you can get a battery pack for it. That's what I'm getting at. So it's portable. I can take this on the road with me, and I can go one wheeling around, and if it's nighttime, I can still be shining the light and giving myself good quality vision within the low light, because the cameras that I have at the moment, they're not always the greatest within the low light vision. It is something that I'm looking forward to getting in the future, but I think I'll be waiting for a little bit beforehand. There is a Sony camera. What is it? The A7S Mark III or something like that. Yeah, beautiful camera. Professional quality, but you're looking at $3,500 just for this camera. Now, it seems pretty hefty in price at first, but when you start getting into the functions and everything that it can do, this camera is very versatile. It can be used in any light condition, basically. From some of the stuff that I've seen, wow, you can use this camera at night and get very, very good quality videos out of it still. And that's something I'd like to look forward to, is making some time lapses of the stars and whatnot. I think those are beautiful shots, so that's something I'd really like to get into. But I need to take the gear that I have now and learn how to use it before I advance any further. I need to get good with what I have, because the gear doesn't make who you are. You make who you are and what your productions are. Along the way, found some cool little things. Macro lens. This is the wide angle macro lens. I've done 2 different videos on this. I don't think I've done any videos on these actually. Little extension tubes. Now, if you're looking to get into macro, this is a great way to go. I think these are like $21 on Alibaba or something like that. Awesome little deal because they're just extension tubes. And what they do is you can bring your lens closer to the object and get that closer macro feel. So you really have to learn how to play with them. And with these combined with the slider and the camera, I'm sure I can get some really cool, outdoor views of little tiny critters or flowers or whatnot. I know I've got some beautiful pictures out of this 24mm lens. Just like, oh, I can't believe I took those pictures myself. I know I haven't posted them anywhere yet, but yeah, I'm quite impressed. So yeah, I kind of got a wide range of things to be able to play with, and kind of looking forward into using them. I just got to get a little bit more creative within my head and how to use them and just start playing around a lot more. I can even do it right here at home now that I have a nice little lighting setup and some gear. What I was going at with getting the slider and the gimbal is to get the smooth action shots, the smooth feel. You can see if you watch some of my other videos when I was making a video about the my ND filters for my drone, I was doing a lot of pan shots. So I was just simply taking my tripod and swinging the pan head so that I could get some motion or movement within my videos. With these items, it's going to be a lot more steady, or I'm going to be able to do a shot with 2 or 3 shots. I'll be able to get the shot within 1 to 3 shots, so a lot quicker. Like if you can't get it within the first shot, it's kind of silly, but you're always going to want to take multiple shots so that you can get that perfect one. But when I was panning with this, there's so much jerkiness within everything that I'd have to take the shot like a dozen times before I'd actually get something that I was comfortable with, where there wasn't any kind of glitchiness within it. So tripod is nice, definitely, so I'm not holding the camera moving up and down trying to slide, trying to make the movement. But with the gimbal and the slider, everything is just so much clearer, so much clean. Gives it a little bit more of a professional look. Now I'm kind of going after the amateur / professional because I don't want to be fully professional. That would be the goal eventually, but right now, I still want to show you that I'm still just me. It's still just a person. I'm going to grow into this stuff and hopefully gain some better quality productions. Now, this is a big racket, like I said. Yeah, YouTube just seemed to start getting very expensive all of a sudden. So, even simple things. One of the first things I bought last year after I bought the gimbal, the phone gimbals, was a monopod. Funny thing with this was, I think I went to the store like 3 times before I actually purchased this item. Looked online probably, I don't know, a dozen times before I actually made the purchase for it. I don't know why. I just contemplate. Sometimes it's hard to spend the money when it seems like an expensive item. Like this was $70 for this little tiny extension pole. But part of the research is how did I want it to feel, right? I wanted to be able to use this in a smooth manner. So there's clips that you can get, and they just clip, and they slide out. Obviously, some of you people have seen those. I wanted something that was quick, and if I wanted to move the pole within my hands, there wasn't going to be big items or objects in the way. So having something that spins tight and spins loose made more sense for me. So I purchased this Vanguard. I'm quite happy with it. It's kind of funny. You know, you've got the nice little strap to keep it to you, but I've gone on hiking trips with this and my gimbal and whatnot, and actually used this as a hiking stick or a walking stick. So it's multifunction, which is kind of funny. But oh, I like it. Has the clip on it. You know, put it on your belt loop or whatever, backpack, and carry it along with you. It's very light. It's all aluminum and very strong. So I'm quite happy with it. And I'll be looking forward to using it in conjunction with my Ronin as I get going, because I can attach it to the bottom. I can take this tripod off, obviously. This acts as a handle as well and has a very nice feel, rubbery feel to it that doesn't feel like it's going to slip out of your hand very easily. But, you know, if you want to get something a little bit further and make it feel like you're shooting a drone shot with just your camera and the extension of your arm and a monopod, these two items are great together, because drones can be very pricey. And with all the new laws and regulations, they're not always ideal either, because anything over 249 grams, you need to have your Flight 107 ticket, so that you are legal to fly. And if you want to do any commercial work and make money from your drone, you need to have the license, which is something I will and am looking forward to getting. I thought I'd have it by now, but I don't. And that's another end of things. There are not a lot of drone pilots that are certified or registered, so there's potential there. I picked up this Dji Mavic Mini as my first drone. I was thinking about just purchasing a little $100 drone, and I thought, well, how far am I going to get with such an item? I have learned in the past that you do get what you pay for sometimes, or most of the time. So I went a little bit more expensive and bought the Mini. And it's a lovely little drone. I enjoy it. Took a little bit of practice to get used to it. Felt a little squirrely at first. And yeah, I was kind of crazy and took it in trees and stuff before I should have went and found a nice little park with a lot of opening before I flew it. But yeah, so this is 249 grams until you add on the training wheels, I call them. You add these onto your over top of your props, and they simply snap on and protects your drone from crashing. And I highly suggest, if you're to purchase a drone, that you get the combo kit. If you are to purchase the DJI, get the combo kit so that you get these. Because if you've never flown a drone before, you are going to crash it. I had thought about purchasing a used drone, but it kind of scared me because you don't know how it was handled. And in particularly, I don't know if you can see it, I just rubbed off some of it, but yeah, I used to do a lot of lawn mowing with this thing. Because I'd get into the ferns or long grass, and this thing's so low that it chops up the grass and makes a mess out of things. And if you bump into trees or bump into poles, it protects your guard, protect your props and the arms so that you don't smash it up. I guarantee you, if I didn't buy the combo, this drone would have been totaled within the first probably 2 hours. So I highly suggest it. Now, if you are learning to fly, I should make a video of that. I thought about it, still haven't done it. Got a good little spot to go to. But I would recommend you go out and you practice some figure eights, but obviously in the horizontal. Practice figure eights. It gets you used to the controls going in all the different directions. And then also practice doing circles both ways. And then the third item that I found was a row of trees all in a straight line. So I think it was 6 or 8 trees, and that was a great way to learn how to go forward and bank from side to side. Because in your mind, you think that you should be turning as you go around trees, but with a drone, it is a lot easier to just go forward and bank, forward, bank, forward, and bank, rather than trying to turn the drone around trees. You're adding movement, you're adding more thoughts to yourself, and it's a lot easier to crash. But practice makes perfect. So it's a fun little device. These little minis only have so much for travel, so they're kind of good that way because they can't go so far away that you're going to lose it forever. And that was something that scared me once. I took it out into the forest, out of town, about an hour and a half or so, or an hour anyways, and I ended up crashing the little bugger on the side of the road, like on a bush trail road. I ended up hiking for probably 3 hours to find it because I wasn't quite used to the software at the moment. It does have a tracking device, but once I was out of range, I wasn't able to find it. It was quite scary when you have an $800 drone missing in action. Yeah, I could say a tear almost came to my eye, or probably did. I thought it was gone. Funny thing was, it was only about 60 or 70 yards away from me, but when you're in the forest, that's a long ways away, man. But yeah, they do have a little tracking device, so as long as there's still battery life on your phone and battery life in here, you will be able to find it. With my situation, after 3 hours, I was losing battery life on both of them. I was at the very last extent. Thank God that with the app, it does have that tracking, and I was able to locate it. But being so small, I was literally standing right in front of it, looking at it, and still didn't see it. Especially being gray and being around a lot of rocks and stuff, it just naturally blended in. But the combo pack's really nice because you get the charger with 3 batteries, which is really cool. Snap in there. They all have light indicators, shows you how much charge is on them. Oh, see, it went off there somewhere. Right? And you can also tell the charge when it's in here as well because it has the lights. So you can actually fly it over top of you and you can see how much charge you have left, which is kind of cool. A lot of fun, I'm telling you. It's a lot of fun. But it's annoying because it's noisy. And you can't fly around airports. And if you live in Victoria like myself, you're really not allowed to fly anywhere. This, you can. But with any other drone, you have to be commercially licensed and you have to have a very legit purpose. And I think you might also need permits to actually fly anything else larger than this. So a lot of drone flyers around here shut it down, and it's strictly only businesses using the larger drones. I would like to get into that. I think it would be cool. So that being said, if my YouTube channel, my next project, I believe, is going to bring my channel to where I want it to go. But if it doesn't, hey, if you're looking for a cameraman, I got some gear. I'm willing to come. You can pay me. I'll travel with you. I'll follow you around. I'll film you. I want to learn how to use this gear a little bit better. Still a rookie. I've got lots to learn, but hey, I'm willing to get in there. And I've picked up a lot over the little bit of time that I've been doing this. That being said, it would be nice to have somebody else to film with. YouTube is one of the loneliest businesses you'll ever get into. You're filming by yourself, you're talking to yourself, you're editing by yourself, unless you have friends. So I don't really have any here, or any that are into cameras or filming. So anyways, yep, it's been fun. Got myself a nice little action board, as you saw at the beginning. I think it's just fun. But they say good idea to have is one of those color items, color boards. And when I went to the Photoshop for this little tiny piece, it's not much bigger than this case. They wanted like $300 for this color board. It's a color strip. Like, give me a break, man. $300? This thing, I think I bought it for like $21 or maybe $30 off Amazon. And look, I can write on it. They gave me an eraser and 2 pens, and I can have all kinds of fun with it. Not just sit it up there and, put it at the beginning of my shots. I can actually use it as a little prop within my shots. So, you just got to get fun, creative with things. So yeah, when we first started this video, I spoke about how I was diffusing the sound. So, I've been collecting egg cartons. They work great. They're cheap, right? If you want, you can color them. Get some spray paint or whatever and give them some color. I thought about getting some food coloring and dipping them, but then once you put them in water, you're going to wreck them and destroy them. So, yeah, be careful. They're more or less just to try and help with the echoing. What I'm getting at here is when I went to go build my studio, all of these content creators like this little fancy foam stuff. Here, I'll show you. I'll just pull the corner down a little bit. So see this little foam? Yeah. This is a single man sheet. So it would go on a single bed. Okay. Now you can see the thickness of it. It's not very thick. And the density is obviously not very super dense. What do you think these things cost? Yeah, you can probably go to Walmart and pick them up for 20 or 30 bucks, maybe. I don't know. Probably not. I went to a foam shop here in Victoria. She's a very nice gal. She's a little Filipino gal. It's a family-run business. I was very happy with dealing with her. I'm sorry to upset her that I'm not going to be coming back because foam is very, very expensive. Okay, I paid $130 for this single sheet. Where's it going to go now? Probably on the hide-a-bed, because all it's good for is looks. So, big waste of money as far as I'm concerned. I went to Home Depot and bought a thing of insulation, a package of insulation that covers 250 square feet. And it's thick insulation that's meant for sound deadening, and I paid $60 for that. It went 4 times further than this did and works 10 times better. Okay, so if you're going to build a studio, do your research and get the cheapest quality stuff. You might have to build some frames or whatever, but it's worth it. I'm going to have to build frames for these now because it's the only way to get rid of the wrinkles. You can't really see it too bad, but if I turn the light here, you're going to see the wrinkles and how bad they are. See? They're horrible. Brutal. Once you turn the light, it kind of disappears. Now that being said, I was watching some people talking about streaming on YouTube. And they say that streaming with your MacBook Air or your computer's camera is very poor quality. And I do agree with them. It's very true. I was getting a lot of digital look out of it, and I can still kind of see it within the red screen there. But as soon as I added light, it took away a lot of that noise, and it clarified a lot of things up. You want to see? So, shut the light off. Come on. Okay, did it get noisy? Oh yeah, I can see it. Looks like a whole bunch of little black dots and stuff all on the red screen. It's kind of like the digital thing's playing around. Ah, the thing's bright. Ugh. The nan light is really cool. Wish I had the remote. That's another accessory you can get. It has different modes on it. You can make this look like an old TV or a storm. There's 3 different storm settings. There's 3 different flash settings. There's a TV setting. There's a bad bulb setting. So it kind of just changes the whole feature of the light. And you can dim the brightness of it and whatnot as well. And it also has a cooling fan in it, which is really nice. Super light, super portable. I know I've been jumping all around here. It also comes with this nice carrying case. It's all padded inside. And yeah, it's just kind of cool. Right? Nothing super crazy. But at least it's protected when you want to transport it anywhere. And you don't have to go and buy some extra exterior case for it. But yeah, it sure makes a difference once you have some light. Makes a difference on the character or the subject. You know, the softness. It can change everything, and it just really... Let's see what the Forza looks like without everything else on. Right? So there I am. 3 lights. Turn these back on. And gives it a little bit of texture again. There you go. Still bugging me. Why? I thought I had this all set up. Ugh. Wowzers. Get out there. Get enough. It'll drive me up the wall. And I guess last but not least, I got myself a nice little backpack. Now, obviously, I wanted to go compact, so I bought more or less the smallest backpack that I could find, but one with some of the best reviews. There's other backpacks out there that are a little bit more waterproof, I guess you could say, and can carry a whole lot more. But I really like the smallness and how well this feels on my shoulders. A lot of backpacks, I find they don't feel so great right on the shoulders. And this one I'm really comfortable. I'm really impressed with. Has some nice features on it. So you can put this across your chest and pull everything together. You know, there's some nice ergonomics, so it's not just a straight strap. It's actually bent and contoured and has some nice padding in there. You can open it in multiple ways, strap other things to it. And with all the items that I have, it has little compartments. Right? So I've got a zipper here so I can put memory cards or whatever in that. But what's really cool is these pieces. Let's see here. I gotta get the right view. So everything folds down so that you've got a nice level area to place larger items, right? But then you can turn them into cavities. You just pop it up and boom. You know, you can slide stuff in there like your lenses, and they're not all going to bang against each other. So kind of cool. Now there's 2 of those dividers, and they just peel right out. So you can see how they got everything folds up. Now, I don't have all of my links set up yet, but once I do, I'll put them in the description below so that you guys, if you're willing to support me, you can purchase these items or any of the items that these companies provide through my links. And this is great. It has different pockets everywhere, right? So look at this, a zip up pocket, and then inside that pocket, there's 2 other little pockets. That's kind of cool. And then there's another pocket up here, and it's magnetic. Just, I think that's nifty. Pull these out of here, get rid of them. And then that would be the same with this side. So you got another little thing with 2 little pockets in there and a third pocket. So 3 pockets in one, which is cool. And then that magnetic pocket once again. Everything's padded inside, so you got to be comfortable knowing that everything's in there. You can open it up nicely. You can open up one side at a time if you want. Just dig things out, right? And the flap opens like that. So you can slide it just half onto your shoulder and not have to take the whole backpack off, and not everything's going to come flying out. One thing I'm impressed about this, though, like, great handles on it, but it's got this huge storage compartment that's kind of hidden in the back, where I can place my laptop in there and all kinds. Like, there's 3 different huge, two big slots and 1 smaller one, and then 2 other pockets on top there. So, you know, I can fit my manuals in there, or my computer, and little different odds and ends, a passport or whatever. And it's against my back, so it's kind of protected. But beautiful little backpack. A little pricey though. It's $230 for that, but very well designed, and gives me the comfort to know that my gear is very well secure. Like, these little snaps so that the snap onto these pieces down here, so that your zipper can't be tugged open by somebody else, or you can snap them off, right? And then these little belts, these things snap on all over the place, wherever these little hooks are, and they're all over this bag, so you can set things up in multiple various directions. Look, handles all the way around it. It's just very well thought out, right? For a little backpack, there sure is a lot of bang to it. And I like it, because if I was to get anything more than this, I took this on a hike with all of my gear in it up a mountain one day, just to feel what it was going to be like if I was to carry everything that I own at the moment. And there's a lot of weight. Like, just to hike up for half an hour up this little mountain with this little backpack, that was a lot of weight. So I wouldn't want anything more, because to fill it up with more, you're just going to weigh yourself down and drag yourself out. So, like, this is perfect. I can't overdo it. Little back padding and everything in there. Right? So yeah, I'm quite happy, and it matches my gear. There was different colors, but I wanted it to kind of, you know, correspond together. I guess I'm just kind of color coordinated like that. Maybe it's the feminine side of me, right? I'm not gay. Oh, excuse me. One thing I did get, and I really enjoy these. I bought them for my gimbals, and simply so that you can add lights onto them, or where's that other one? Oh, it's gone somewhere. Or it has 2 cold shoes on it, right? So you can add a light and you can add a microphone. You can put them in various positions, and this spins on, so you've got the 1/4-inch thread mount, so you can mount it to the bottom of whatever. If I wanted to mount it to the bottom of this gimbal, I can. If I want to mount it in between this and this, I can, because it also has the female and the male. So that's great. I have 2 or 3 of these, super cheap. Great little lightweight add-on to be able to add on your other accessories, because if you're shooting at night, you're going to want a nice LED light. You're shooting any camera, you're going to want to add on a microphone. It definitely makes a difference. And then purchased a few of these. Another cheap item. Would have been nice to get something a little bit longer, right? So that it would be similar like the DJI, because you get a lot more stance and a lot more comfortable, knowledge, knowing that things aren't going to move so much when it's longer. But these do the job in a smaller, lightweight situation. So I'm enjoying those. Anyways, rambling on. But getting into YouTube, it is more extensive than one thinks. For those of you that watch videos on YouTube, you're entertained, I hope, by the many creators that are out there. And it's very easy to watch a 10 or 15-minute video and be blown away by it or intrigued, but you don't realize exactly how long it takes to develop and produce that video. Through my experience, if you're just speaking like we're speaking right now, yeah, it's very easy to pump out a 10 or 15-minute video and do very limited editing or light editing and have that video out within, say an hour of time, kind of. But that's once it's recorded and shot, you still have the whole thought process of what you're going to say and do and whatnot within that video. And then there's other videos that I've seen that I've made and my girlfriend that can take, up to a week or two just of shooting in various locations, and then another week of editing. And I mean like a full week. I've seen my girlfriend literally sit there for like 72 hours easily before she got out an 8-minute video. But the quality is intense, right? So that's what I'm getting at. If you want to really get into YouTube, don't get all hyped up around everybody and telling you that you got to get this video out there once a week. You've got to be regular. Yeah, it's nice to be regular, but if you're new, just take your time. Really get to know what you're doing. Clarify it, right? I thought I had it going when I bought the boat. That was my dream. That's what brought me into YouTube. I was going to sail around the world. That was the big idea. But then got the boat and realized it was more money than I could afford to keep it going. That being said, is a lot of people tell you to experiment a little bit with your YouTube channel and try out different things. Try out different scenarios, different types of videos, different styles of making video, or different content. The funny thing about it is my one video that has over 4,000 views now, it's the only video I have with over 1,000 views at this time of recording, was a little tiny boat that I don't own. I guess I could go buy one, but I don't have the means to tow it or store it. And so how do I work around that? But it's not something that I feel that I can build an entire channel out of, just sailing that little boat. I'm sure I can go to many, many places and make it interesting. But to me, it's just not going to work for me anymore. I'm not in that community anymore. I'm not around all those boaters or have the access to these items. And then trying other techniques and, videos that I thought people would watch, they don't watch. And videos that I thought people wouldn't watch, they do watch. And I used to get all hyped up with uploading a video and then checking it out to see who's watched it, and be checking it every hour, every half an hour, and get myself all disappointed and worked up that nobody's looking at it. And then, now there's videos I got that have been out there for a year or 3 months, and I go back and look at it, and I'm astonished that I'm actually getting views. So thank you everybody that has been watching my content. The next thing is the comments thing. A lot of people that I've been speaking to that are interested in doing YouTube, they get all worried about the comments, because of the negative comments. A lot of people can't handle them. And yeah, they're harsh. They hit you hard, It brings emotion out of you, because you put all your emotion into these videos. You're hoping that you're providing something decent and putting some good information out there. And then people will slam you to the ground with their comments. I used to get worked up about it. I guess the great thing is I've got a whack of videos out there, and my negative comments have been very low, which is kind of astonishing because there's a lot of crap that I have on for content. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think I've pumped out a lot of good stuff. But it's something to build on, and I'm actually amused by the negative comments, because those that have commented on me that have been negative, I've commented back, and then they ended up taking their comment down. So wish I didn't comment back, because I would have at least still had that comment. If you have the comments, negative or positive, it's great, because at least your videos are showing that they're getting interaction. So don't worry about the negatives. Just take it with a grain of salt. The funny thing I found, though, is one of the guys, I wish I had a picture of an ass right now, or a hat of an ass, because, yeah, he said that I'm making an ass out of myself here on YouTube, going from boats to book reviews to this and that. Well, I'm trying to find what's going to work for me. And little do you know, buddy, Amazon sells books, and I can get affiliate links for those books. And if people are looking at my videos and they're interested in buying that book, I can be making money off it. So yeah, it might be a crummy video, but hey, it might not intrigue you, but it intrigues somebody else. And if they're willing to click on my link to purchase that book, thank you very much. Thank you for supporting me, and thank you for supporting the fellow that wrote it, right? All I'm looking at is strategy. If you're looking to make YouTube, you're looking to get onto YouTube, you should be looking at making it into a business, because that's exactly what it is. YouTube is a business. It's not a job. So when you're telling me to go get a job and get a real haircut, I'm laughing, because I'm not the guy that got fired multiple times from that exact same job that you keep going back to. And at least I'm pushing through and persevering like you are, and trying to make something out of myself. I'm learning a new skill. So yeah, I'm going to be really crummy at the beginning. And so are you if you're going to start YouTube. That's the nature of the business. No one's going to start being good right off the hop. Doesn't matter what you're doing. You're going to be a babysitter, a lawnmower, a dishwasher, a cook. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are. You're going to be crummy at what you do at the start. The thing is get started. Do it. Right? It took me a year and a half, 2 years before I actually got the courage enough to get on here and do it. But at least I'm doing it. I've got guys at work right now that laugh at me. What are you doing for the weekend? Oh, I'm going home and I'm going to read. You read on your weekend? Yeah, man. Knowledge can take you places. Besides that, I'm not out there spending my money on silly things, booze and camping and everything else, and wasting time. I'm here trying to develop my future. What are you doing? 5 years from now, maybe 5 months from now, this might be my career. And I'm not going to be you where you're hammering nails 20 years down the road still, right? So who's laughing? What I'm saying is, if you want something more in life, you got to put out a little bit extra. And I've always been that kind of person. When I was in my last industry in the oil field, I worked many, many days of 12 to 16-hour days plus, and not just on a 5-day schedule like most of you people on the 9 to 5. I grew up in the career where I had to work 90 days straight with no days off. If you were 1 minute late for work, you were fired. And when you work in the oil field, sometimes jobs are not dime a dozen. They are very far and few in between. I've had times where I had 6 days worth of work or 6 weeks worth of work, and then I've had years where I've had 6 days or 6 weeks off, right? It's feast or famine. But I don't want to live like that anymore. I want a new adjustment in life, and that's what this is. So if you want change in your life, you have to be willing to change and do something that's completely out of your comfort zone. And that's exactly what this is for me. I am way out of my comfort zone. And with the next series on my YouTube channel, that I have recently come up with in my mind, and I am building and have it written down on paper, pages and pages of notes. Look here, not pages and pages, but yeah, I've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pages, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 pages, 19 pages, figuring out what I'm going to do for my next channel. You know what this has done to me? Put nothing but anxiety inside of me. I'm scared. Yeah, you have to be scared. Change is scary, but without it, nothing will change. So you have to step out of your comfort zone if you want something new in life. And that's what I'm doing. And if you're not willing to, I'm sorry. But for a lot of you, you'll still be where you are today 20 years from now. I don't want that. That's not me. It's not my personality. I need to constantly change and develop. I spent over 20 years in the oil field. That's done. I want nothing to do with that anymore. There was a guy that I used to work with in town just recently. I just noticed that he was here. Contacted him. Oh, it was his last day here. So no worries, because the more I can step away, the better for me. I don't want to be pulled back in. So I'm trying to avoid any of that situation possible and staying as far away as possible. Now, yes, I'm still back in construction, but this is what I'm working on as my way out. So, that being said, YouTube is not the only platform you're going to be working on if you're attempting to make this into a business. Because through my learnings, in order to gain affiliate links through all of these different companies that I've been purchasing items through, to work as a marketer, but in a different manner, because I'm just going to be using the stuff and showing you how I use it rather than just sitting here and trying to promote it to you. You need to have a website. So you're going to have YouTube and you're going to build a website. And whatever that may be, if it's just a Squarespace or WordPress or Shopify, whatever it is, you're going to need some sort of website where you're able to receive emails. So you can't be using your regular Gmail address like I am right at the moment, but I kind of went silly and set up a website with another name, thinking that it was going to be great as Online Getty, but obviously didn't do the research in that, thinking about how I could get nailed to the wall by using a very popular name. So I just went with my original name and just promoting myself. I am the brand. So you have to have an about page, contact page, and something else. I think you also need a privacy policy. So I need to upgrade my website so that I have all of the things in place. But now I'm able to start to collect the affiliate links so that I can promote them on YouTube and my website. Beyond that, I thought, well, if I'm going to build a website, within my research, I've been told that if you start writing a blog, simply only writing about your hobby, within 6 months to a year, if you're persistent with it, there's a potential that you can make 6 digits a year just off of your blog. So I incorporated that within my YouTube channel. And that's why I went back to the book reviews, because now I can speak about the books, which are on Amazon, and Amazon asks for, say, 10 to 15, maybe 15 to 20 good articles before they will accept you as an affiliate. And the same with Google AdSense. So you need to so I need to polish up my writing skills a little bit better, because I notice my writing is a little bit off as I'm getting older. But I'm actually getting some traffic to my website, which I'm quite astonished. I just posted it or published it July 1st, and yeah, there's action happening there. So today I actually was able to put ads onto my website through my WordPress, not Google, but it's the movement forward. And now I'm able to start generating a revenue. On top of that, the next move is that I need to register a business once again, so that I can add the Stripe account and be able to receive payments or donations through subscribers or followers that are willing to help fund or support me and my efforts. So I guess the next thing is I must improve on the quality of content that I provide to you. And the thought is, not that I want it to be, but maybe I'm going to have to hire an editor for a little while, or take some courses and learn and just slow down a little bit so that my editing is cleaned up and more refined to the point that I'm entertaining you. So YouTube, from what I can see, has kind of two directions. You either entertain or you teach. And so far my teaching doesn't seem to be very good. I just leave out a lot of stuff. So it is what it is. It's the learning curve. You pump it out, and then you see where you failed, and you try to make your videos better. 1% better every time, if possible. Now, I haven't finished getting through this book, but if you want some good advice, this man, Sean Canal, he's talented. He's got some good advice. At first, I couldn't stand watching him, but, now I don't mind. He's actually got it going. Got a couple channels on the go. He's wrote this book. There's a lot of good information in here. I obviously just starting to read it. I have to get further and further into it, but there's plenty of information on YouTube if you're not into reading, and be able to gain all the information and knowledge that this fine gentleman has for you. And that would be Sean right there. So go on his channel, Think Media. He's got some great knowledge, great insight, and I've gathered some other literature from him beyond this book for topics, titles, how to properly go about things, or just intriguing titles, how to make it more capturing or whatnot. And if you guys are interested, I can always send you some of the information that he sent me. As long as I have the time and don't procrastinate on that. I've sent it to a few other people, trying to help them within their efforts, but then a lot of people want something different, but then they're not really willing to put the time in, which is quite unfortunate. I find it really amusing where there's so many people out there, say over 90% of the world, that are willing to go to school and spend a large chunk of money on their education so that they can have a job. They'll spend $20, $30, $100,000 on an education that gives them a job. What is the acronym of job? Just over broke. So they'll put all this time and money into an education that keeps them just over broke, but they won't take any of their extra time in the evening or weekends to put into their side hustle that could build them their fortune. But people tell me that I'm lazy. You people that say that to me, I find amusing, very amazing. Because where are you right now? You're probably sitting at home watching the boob tube. You see, I even made a video of this a few months ago. For you guys that have been following me, know that I've been collecting the copper wire at work so that I can recycle it, because any non-ferrous metal has a value to it. And if the electricians are going to throw it on the floor and then throw it in the garbage, and my job is to pick up the garbage at work once upon a time, then I'm simply going to take what's valuable home. And my boss was making fun of me for this, collecting this copper at work and then going at home and sitting there and stripping the plastic from the copper. He says, well, you're probably only making $15 an hour sitting at home cleaning up all this copper so that you can recycle it. Yeah, and I'm also making YouTube videos. So I'm stripping copper and I'm making YouTube videos, which will potentially both make me money eventually if I do it properly. And my boss at the time that said this likes to drink his beers and smoke his cigarettes. And that's what he does in his afternoons and evenings and weekends. So where is he going to be 20 years from now? And where will I be 20 years from now? I don't know. But I'm hoping so. Gary Vaynerchuk, crush it. Work 16 hours a day. 24 hours if you can. The guy's crazy. He's absolutely nuts. But I love him. He's a powerhouse. Mr. Gary Vaynerchuk. I can't wait to get into this book. I ordered his other one as well. I'm sure this is a very simple read. The thing that I find amusing about this book is this gentleman right here does not read books. But I bought his book that he wrote. Very amusing. But it goes to show that it's very simple to write a book nowadays. You can almost sit here and speak as we're speaking right now into the computer, and the computer will write the book for you. It's that simple. And a book is like a YouTube thumbnail. Once it's written, it's sitting there waiting for you to buy it or click on it and watch it, and it makes some money over and over and over again. This book was written, 10 years ago? And I just purchased it. It's still making him money today. Right? Let's see here. Copyright 2009 by Gary Vaynerchuk. There you go. It's as simple as that. Dan the Man Lock. This is what we're working for. F you money. It's that you're no longer going out there and building your boss's dream. Build your own dream, people. Live a life that's worth living. Why not? You can think about it all day long. You can dream about it all night. But if you don't take action, you're never going to know. You know, I might have failed on numerous business attempts in the past. Yes, I have been successful, not fully successful where I wanted to be or where I do want to end up to be, but I made the attempt, right? People laugh at me today, but then when I sit down and talk with them at work and ask them, where have you been in life? Have you ever had $1 million or more worth of assets within your business? Most of them can't even answer it. Most of them won't answer that because the answer is simply no. They've never even started or registered a business. But they have the nerve to try and cut me down. Interesting. So yeah, I might have invested $500,000 into equipment and had a house and had land and had trucks and had this and had that and lost it all. And here I am today on YouTube trying to build something new. The thing is I'm giving it the effort. I'm putting myself out there and I'm giving it a shot. So it's not easy. I feel very vulnerable to the world. Anybody could attack me and knock me down right now. But inside, I feel good. It hurts sometimes. You don't know where you're going to go. You never know if you're going to get there. But it works. It kind of suits my personality type. Oh, yeah. And if you guys want to make money, check it out, man. Like, really. Rakuten. It's Canadian. Rakuten.ca. If you shop online, like, why wouldn't you? It's like honey. It makes no sense why you wouldn't. Add this to your browser bar. It's a simple little app. It gives you percentages off of the purchases that you're already making, right? So you can purchase from Best Buy or Staples or Home Depot or wherever, because there's many, numerous name brand stores and brands that are signed on with Rakuten. So a simple life hack would be to purchase the item online where it's showing the Rakuten app, because you can go to Best Buy and there'll be 2 or 3 different places you can click on to get to their website. But if you click on the one where Rakuten is flashing above, you will receive the percentage off on your purchase and make money back, right? So what I'm getting at is make the purchase online, but then go and pick it up at the store so you don't have to wait or pay for the shipping. Now, Rakuten just paid for your fuel to go get it. Voila! It's that simple. But some people don't want to go that way. I guess your hard-earned money just isn't hard-earned enough. Anyways, it's enough of me rambling on. I got many more books I can flash at you, and I'm sure I could find some more things here I can find to show you that I have, but that's basically it. I don't want to leak out too much on my next venture. I kind of gave you a hint on the last little live stream. This is the second one that I've had. I got one friendly viewer, and I bet you it's my mom. I don't know for sure. Nobody's commented. But thanks for watching. It's been interesting. I was kind of all worked up about this. I had some anxiety. I'm sure I'll get some more views after the fact. That seems to be the manner with these live streams. It's only my second one. I've only got a following of 42 viewers. If you've made it this far in the video, congratulations. And thank you very much, everybody, because I posted the little one wheel that I'm getting for myself for my birthday for my next YouTube series, and I gained 6 subscribers. Thank you. I turned 41 and I now have 42 subscribers. It's not big, but hey, they're coming and the views are coming. My channel's growing. I'm getting shares on videos. I'm getting likes. I'm getting comments. Like, it's starting to happen. And now that I'm getting this worked into a proper game plan on how I can actually monetize and make money on this, it's gonna happen. I told you I'm gonna make money this year. I made money with Rakuten this year. And the next is to start making money off of some affiliate links. Hopefully. And if not, oh well. I'll keep chipping away somewhere. Sooner or later, something will happen. Either YouTube or my blog, or maybe someone will hire me as a cameraman because I'm crummy as an editor and content creator. But it will all come in time, right? I've seen guys that started editing 10 years ago, and they're fairly decent. They're good. And you watch their stuff now, they're amazing. So you just got to put in those 10,000 hours or whatever it may be, but it has to be consistent effort. Because, yeah, I used to laugh at the joke back when I was younger, and I had older guys come up to me at work and, oh, I forgot more than you've ever learned. Well, I am almost turning into one of those guys now. And it's very easily to forget many things when you don't stay consistent with it. Some things that I was very good at once upon a time, I'm not so good at anymore. But I'm much better at other things now than I ever was then. So I gradually move on and graduate, as you should too. I can't believe I was able to ramble on like this for this long. Yep. My girlfriend says I talk like a girl, and I've had other friends say I talk like a bitch. Beep. But I guess that's why I gathered certain people around me. They like to listen to what I have to say. Hopefully I can find some more of you. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. And yeah, it's time for a bathroom break and dinner. So enjoy your weekend. Summer's over. I wish summer wasn't over. Oh man. Yeah. I hate winter. That's why I came to Victoria. But I'm happy I'm here. What a beautiful city. And that's also part of my next plan. I'm in a tourist town, so I should be making the best of it, right? And YouTube, you can be working with me on this. There's so many great places to eat, so many great places to see, and some of those places are free too. You know, you don't just have to pay for everything. This is beautiful country. Beautiful. My God's country, man. This is beautiful. Wish I still had my boat. That's what I'm working on. It'll come. I'll get it back. Just a lot nicer. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Ciao for now. Love you. See you soon.